Hey, you! I need you to hit the subscribe button below.
How you doing? Yeah, I stopped going to church because they feel like they generate a lot of money. I don't go nowhere.
All right. So it's hitting your pockets deep, huh?
Yeah.
That's what a lot of churches do, right? Does it change anywhere, any other church that you go to?
I don't go nowhere at all.
Right. Okay. So today, now that you're not going to the church, are you still continuing to seek a spiritual thing?
I have mental life, but I'm not doing it.
Okay. So do you know you're an Israelite? You know your nationality, according to God. Okay. You see yourself on the sign right here? Mm-hmm. Right on the right side, this is what God calls us in the Bible. On the left side, those are the names that the world deemed us today. So you see American blacks, West Indies, Haitians, Puerto Ricans. Like my brother who just rolled past says Puerto Rican. So guess what? He from tribe of Ephraim, right? Me, myself, I'm a so-called American black. I was born here in America. So I'm so-called Judah. So that's what you are, right? That's what your father is? Okay, all praises. So now, this is what we're showing our people, because you say you go to church, they just trying to hit your pockets. Have they ever tried to tell you who you are in the Bible? So they never did. So this is the first time you're finding out how special you really are. Give me Deuteronomy 7:6. I'm going to show you how great it is to find out this knowledge that you're an Israelite. Because when you go to church, what do they tell you about how God loves? How does God love, according to the Christian church?
They tell you we love you or we die for you. Die for you. You're holy again.
Right.
No matter what you're going through, He's there, always there.
Right.
All the time.
Okay.
You know what you're going through, and He's going to bring you out if you believe and have faith.
Right. Okay. So now we're going to read something out the Bible. I'm going to show you something, because in the Christian church they say those things. They give that rhetoric that God loves everybody, right? But when you actually examine the Bible for yourself, when you pick it up and read it, you get the understanding of it, you can see that He's very possessive. And a lot of the things today, if you would, let me put it in a word, supremacy. You know how you got white supremacy, right? Which means those white people that are against everyone else, they're not so much against everyone else, they just love their people more than everybody else. They prefer their people more than everybody else. And there's nothing wrong with that, because as a so-called black man, we're supposed to prefer our people first as well, right? We're supposed to always be looking out for our people. But for some reason, we got indoctrinated down the line, and now we want to look out for everybody. And that comes from the doctrine that's taught in these churches, because when you go into church, are they showing you an image of Him, or are they showing you an image of Him? They showing you, they showing you this one right over here, right? So now, I'm going to read something. Give me Deuteronomy 7:6.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
Right?
The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto Himself.
So the Most High God said He chose a certain people. Hold that, give me Deuteronomy 1:1. Let's see who this is talking to. Because you keep hearing the churches, you keep hearing the religion that God's for everybody. God love everybody, right? Watch this, Deuteronomy 1:1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
So the book of Deuteronomy is addressing the children of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Those would be the ones you see on this sign. So read Deuteronomy 7:6 again.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art unholy people unto the Lord thy God.
He says we are holy people unto God, right? The Israelites. Read.
The Lord thy God has chosen thee.
He said He chose the Israelites, right? What did He choose them for? Read.
He chosen thee to be a special people unto Himself.
Now this is what I was saying earlier about how special it is to find out the knowledge that you are from the 12 tribes of Israel. Because what? Watch this.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
He said that the Israelites are above all people that are on the face of the earth. Now, we all know God don't change, right? So that's never changing. God God said the 12 tribes, whether they know who they are or not, he still puts them above everybody else. Our job today is to wake up and come back to God to show him that we know who we are, keep these commandments, right? Give me Matthew 15:24. I'm going to give you something else, show you about the doctrine we were just talking about how God loves everybody and Jesus going to come and die for everybody sins. That's not biblical. Watch this. Read.
The book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Christ himself out his own mouth said he only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Said we are the lost sheep. We the ones that's lost. We don't know who we are. We lost our identity. We don't know where we at. We're scattered throughout the world. But still, Christ said he only coming, because that word but means only. So he said, I'm not sent, but meaning I'm only coming for the children of Israel. So that's where we have to start right here. So now, we're going to give you some things to prove that you are the children of Israel, right? We put these signs out here for our people as a visual, so that we can connect the dots to make sense of the scriptures. Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 15.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Now, what we just read was Moses coming out of the wilderness, going in the wilderness, leaving out of Egypt, bringing the children of Israel from that bondage they were in, right? Now, he got the commandments from God, and he's telling them, hey, if you don't keep these commandments, that all these curses are going to come upon us, right? Is a curse a good or a bad thing? It's a bad thing. Curse is always a bad thing, right? Right, you see, you point to the COVID-19. That's a curse. And we're going to show you that. Watch this. Oh, give me Deuteronomy 28 and 61 out there. Yep. Watch this. You just pointed something. I'm going to read out the Bible. Watch this.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 61. Also, every sickness and every plague.
Every what?
And every plague.
COVID-19 is a plague, right? And what did they say when they started shutting everything down? They said, oh, we got to get the blacks and Hispanics to come in and take this vaccine because it's so much higher in the black and Hispanic community, trying to push fear on the black folks because they're seeing us in the hospitals dying from this disease, right? Those plagues was killing us. They're letting our people die in there. You see, when it first was starting, they weren't trying to help us. But on the flip side, they were trying to save as many of their people as they could. But the children of Israel, the black folks, the Hispanics, nah, let's push this out there and let them die. And then once we started to become immune to it a little bit, once it started not to affect us, they said, push another strain out there, make sure it gets to that community. And once it died down a little bit again, push another one out there. Now push it overseas where the black folks at. Because now we gotta make sure that this plague hits the black community because they know who we are, right? But that's a curse according to God. Every sickness and every plague. What are some of the sicknesses black folks deal with today? We deal with cancer, diabetes, AIDS, gout, all type of things that are not written in this book, right? You don't read about those things in the Bible, but they're plaguing us today. Our community has a health problem. A lot of us have high blood pressure. A lot of us got cataract and all type of stuff. Those things are happening to us because we broke God's commandments, and we continue to do it today. So these curses are still going until we figure out who we are, and we start lessening the burden on ourselves by keeping His commandments. Keep reading.
Also, every sickness and every plague, which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed.
And it's destroying us as a nation. All these plagues and diseases and the sicknesses that we're going through, it is destroying us as a people. So now, give me verse 32. Now I'm going to start to connect the dots on these to make sure that we understand why we have these out there and why we see the scriptures we got next to them, right? We're going to read some of these and we're going to show you what it means. Read that.
Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
So now, one of the curses said that the Israelites' sons and their daughters are going to be given to another people. Historically speaking, what nation nation of people were put in slavery and had their children taken from them. Black folks, right? Blacks, Hispanics, so-called Native Americans. We came over here in slavery, they was taking our sons and our daughters. They put that in movies. And every other year they got another slave movie out, coming out just to remind us of what we were, right? Because they know who we are. They want to keep our self-esteem down. They said, look, we're going to keep showing them how they was at the bottom so we can keep their mentality to understand that they nothing. And that's what they want to put on us. Right, most of us feel like we nothing. That's why we go out here and do these things to each other, right? Keep reading.
And thine eyes shall look and flail with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thy hand.
Now, even when they took our children from us, did we have any type of military might to get them back? Any type of no fighting force, no police force, things like that, right? We don't have those things. And now, bring it up to today. Who they send to your house when they want to take your children from you? The police, and who come with them? Social worker, right? CPS, Child Protection Service. They come to get your child. Can you do anything when they come to knock on the door? No. All it takes was somebody to falsify something or make a claim, and then they call CPS and they're like, yo, this child is in the living conditions aren't right for this child, so we should take them and put them in foster care. And what can you do? You can try to fight back if you will find yourself in jail, and your child still gonna get took. It's a curse. We can't do anything about that. So you'll see our people out here. You'll see our sisters. We're gonna get on the sisters for a second. You'll see the sisters out there. We know we got the most beautiful women in the world. Know that we have this beautiful hair, but our sisters will perm it to straighten it out to make it look like the oppressor. They will put green, purple, orange, all type of colors in their hair, make their hair look crazy. And that's an astonishment to people, right? Because everybody knows how beautiful our sisters are. But they would rather go out there dressed half naked and not represent themselves as women of God, right? Keep reading.
And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee.
So now you heard proverb and byword, right? When it comes to proverb and byword, that means if they make wise sayings about us, right? If you want to hide anything from a black man, you do what? Put it in the book. Most of our people don't like to read. That's what the stereotype that's put on us, right? We all thieves, murderers, drug dealers. Those things are put on us as a stigma against us, right? That's what God said was going to be a curse against us because we broke His commandments. And He said we was going to be a byword, right? Right down here, you see this one? You see this one right here? This was 37. Now, when we were sitting here in slavery, they were when we were getting sold on them auction blocks, they were telling us, hey, Master Johnson, sold to Master Johnson, right? So now your name is such and such Johnson. That's where we get our last names here today. A lot of us black folks, we see our Williams, Jackson, John, all these other names. Those came from our slave masters, and it was passed down through generations. We were no longer going to be known as the children of Israel. So that's going back to the top of the verse where it says with astonishment too, because the other nations know who we are. But when we come out here, we represent ourselves as thugs, drug dealers. We coming out here acting crazy, doing all these other crazy things. We see ourselves on the corners, cracked out, all this other stuff, and that's an astonishment because everybody knows who the children of Israel. They saying, look, that's the children of God. That's how they behave. That's how they women act. That's how the brothers do their people. That's an astonishment to the other nations. So now, what we reading? Curses. We're reading curses. This is an identifier to show who the children of Israel are in the last days. Read verse 46.
Verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
It said the curses in this Bible are going to be a sign to let you know who the children of Israel are. So it's going to be without a shadow of doubt. When you read this chapter, you're going to know, like, man, this ain't happening to nobody else. This is happening to the blacks, the Hispanics, the Native Americans. That's how you know who the children of Israel are in the last days, right? Keep reading.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things.
So God got to repeat Himself. He said, look, because y'all didn't want to do what I told you to do with gladness, because I gave you everything. Everything in this world was made for our sakes, right? didn't want to do it. We wanted to do our own thing. He said, okay, because we didn't want to do, because we don't want to serve him with joyfulness and gladness of heart, right? Keep reading.
Therefore, shalt thou serve thine enemies.
And because we don't want to do what God tells us to do, today we're going to serve our enemies. How we serve our enemies? Keep reading.
Which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger.
In hunger. So, when you hungry, when you go to the grocery store, what nation of people are you buying your groceries from? Not your own people though, right? How many places do you know that's black owned that's giving food back in their community? There's none, right? Nowhere. You don't see it. Because he said that the Lord, we're going to set our enemies against us, right? So he's saying that we have enemies. The other nations of people that we got to go to for food, when we want to go to the Chinese store and get your little kung pao chicken, whatever they got over there, rat chicken. You want to get McDonald's, you want to get Burger King, you want to get all these other things, you got to go to your enemies to get those things, right? Keep reading.
In hunger and in thirst.
And in thirst. So when you want to get a cup of water, where you gotta go? Where you get it? You get it from them, right? You want to get a bottle of water, a case of bottled waters. Where you going? To them, right? When you pay your water bill, who you going to? Because if you don't pay your bill, they gonna do what? They gonna cut it off. So you gotta go to your enemies in thirst as well, right? Keep reading.
And in nakedness.
And in nakedness. So when you want to buy clothes for yourself, right? Who you gotta go to? You gotta go to them. And what God call them? Enemies. He said, he gonna send your enemies against you. So your enemies is in charge of your food that you eat, the water that you consume, the clothes on your back, the shoes on your feet. God said you gotta go to them for everything. Because at one point, we were the ones the other nations were coming to. We were the ones supplying the things for ourselves. But remember, these are curses against us because we didn't do what God told us to do, right? We didn't keep his commandments. Keep reading.
In nakedness and in want of all things.
And in want of all things. So everything under the sun that you can think of. You want to pay your phone bill, you got to go to your enemies. You want to pay your car note, you got to go to your enemies. You want to learn about God, who you go to? You got to go to them, right? They're the ones in charge of theology schools, the ones that's teaching these churches, come as you are. Sow a seed, get what you need. This is your season, and all the other stuff that you hear, all that other BS that they teach, you got to go to them for it. And what that does is take you away from the true word of God, right? When you want to bury your loved ones, who do you go to? To them, right? When you want to birth a child, who you got to go to? I'm trying to paint a picture for you because the things that we're reading here are still happening today. And today our people are walking around calling themselves black, niggas, African Americans, all these names under the sun, except for the children of Israel. When we can clearly read the things that we're bringing out are pertaining to the children of Israel. Now, give me verse 68. Watch this. I'm gonna bring it home real quick. Finish that one out. Finish that one. Watch this.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he hath destroyed thee.
Now look at this right here. What is these right here? Iron, right? When they took us in slavery, they put iron around our necks, iron chains, right? Until he destroyed us. So now mentally, we are destroyed today. Now to the point to where at that time, you would see rebellion. Because anytime our people picked up this book and read it, they would read in there and be like, yo, this ain't right. I'm reading something different from what slave master telling me and what the overseers are letting me read. But then we got to the point where they destroyed us so much mentally to where we're not going to run no more. We love it here in Babylon. We'll teach those traditions that was taught to us in slavery and bring it down the line, generation to generation, to our kids. To the point where today we still celebrate Christmas on December 25th, knowing that's not Christ's birthday. A lot of people we run into know about these pagan holidays. What does a rabbit and eggs have to do with the resurrection of Jesus? It ain't got nothing to do, right? What do rabbits and eggs got to do with each other? Rabbits don't lay eggs. But our people still, every single year, go spend $200 to $1,000 on a suit, on clothes, to go line up at the church to get lied to about the resurrection of Christ.
Bring it out!
Every single year. Those are traditions. That's being destroyed. He said, you're going to have chains on our necks until we destroy it as a people. You can't read those things out the Bible, but our people still follow those things. Our people still do those traditions that were taught to us by Master. Right? Is that it?
Yeah, that's it on that one.
Give me verse 68. God not playing with us. That's one thing we got to understand. He's not playing with us. Our minds are destroyed so bad in this society today that whatever the white man tells us, we just go with it. We go with it. You got people out here right now. We're gonna get those people. Dwayne Wade, right? Got his little boy, raising him as a little girl. And society's pushing that on our people. And they've been pushing that movement on our people for years and years and years, to the point to where people say, well, mind your business. It ain't your family. He should be able to raise his son the way he wants to, and all this other stuff. And in the meanwhile, all he's doing is destroying that little boy and destroying his family, and all of them are going to get hellfire when Christ comes back. And all our people that follow behind that madness gonna get the same judgment, right? God not playing with us. That's why he did this to us. Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So you know about Egypt. You said you had the minister license, right? So you know about how Moses led the children out of Egypt, right? When the children of Israel were in Egypt, what was their position? Were they free? The Israelites, when they were in Egypt before Moses got them out, were they free?
No.
No. What were they in Egypt? It was slaves. So it's saying, read it from the top again. I'm showing you Egypt means something. Read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So when they were in Egypt, they were slaves. Did they ever, they walked out of Egypt. Did they ever go back into Egypt? No, right? Give me what Egypt means. Watch this.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 2. And I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Another word for bondage is slavery, right? So he said that Egypt is synonymous with bondage or slavery. So when you read the verse, we'll go back and read it. Watch this. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt. Into Egypt, slavery again, with ships. With ships. Now, what nation of people went on slavery on slave ships? What race of people is known throughout history for have gone on slave ships? Black folks, right? So now, what is this identifying? Who the children of Israel are in the last days. So you got people overseas that don't look like you and me. They call themselves the real Jews, right? But in their history, when did they go on slavery on slave ships? They never did. You can't read about anything about the people calling themselves Israeli or Jewish ever going on slave ships, right? Because if they were the real people, that's the prophecy that was going to have to happen to them. But
I got somebody in the car. I took care of.
Okay.
But I had to stop because I know about you all. I got birth certificate before I got at home, and I was planning on temping. I will be calling, I think.
Yeah, we open today at 4 o'clock. Can I get one more scripture before you leave?
Yes.
Deuteronomy 10 and 12. There's one more scripture before you leave. Now, I was bringing this out because now you know you're an Israelite, right? Mm-hmm. You agree with that? It made sense to you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm making sure. I'm making sure. You said you want to come by, so definitely. Watch this. Read this.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, verse 12. And now, Israel, what doeth the Lord thy God require of thee? But to fear the Lord thy God. Right?
We're supposed to fear God for his judgments, right? He did all this to us. We should be afraid of the Most High, because he can put us back in this condition at any moment. Keep reading.
To walk in all his ways. And to love him.
Right.
And to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul.
So what does it mean to love God, serve him with all your heart and all your soul? Read.
To keep the commandments of the Lord.
To do what?
To keep the commandments of the Lord.
So we're supposed to be keeping God's commandments as his children. That's period, point blank. That's the reason that he put us in these conditions right here. That's the reason why we still at the bottom of society today, because we don't know who we are and we're not doing what he told us to do. So you said you want to come by, right? You know where the school is at?
got the address on there.
Got the address on there? You open that 4 o'clock today?
Okay.
We'd love to see you come by. What's your name?
Charles.
Charles, my name is Hezekiah.
Okay.
Yeah, good to see you, bro. Hey, you got any questions? Don't hesitate to call us, man. Come by today. We'll be there.
All right.
Yep, no problem.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
We used to scream Black Power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are how men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.